What's good, YouTube? This is the only big green Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm back again with another deck profile. And this deck profile is going to be another Tele-Dad format deck, and this is going to be of ZombieSworn. And if pure Light Sworns didn't exist, this would be my favorite deck of the format. This deck is absolutely insane. This deck has probably the best firepower of any deck of the format, and there's even a FTK with Tempest Magician in this deck. Although, I would say you'll probably pull it off 2 out of 10 games, or 1 out of 10 games, depending on your luck. But the FTK is there, and you have to be mindful of it. But anyways, let's get right in onto the deck profile. Triple Lumina, the Lightsworn Summoner. Lumina, you can pitch a card from your hand to special summon a Lightsworn monster from your graveyard, and then in phase, obviously, you mill. And then Lila, you can switch it to defense to pop a spell or trap card. This card is especially good in this deck because Royal Oppression sucks to deal with. And this is one of your outs to Royal Oppression, is just switching her and then just going off and comboing off from there. And then obviously Lila mills as well in the end phase. And then 3 Wolves. Wolf is basically an upstart goblin in this deck because of Card of Safe Return existing. So whenever it's milled, you special summon it, and then if Card of Safe Return is out, you draw a card. Triple Mizuki onto the zombie part of the deck. Mizuki, you can banish him to special summon a zombie monster from your graveyard. Or banish him from your grave to special summon a zombie monster from grave. Triple Plague Spreader. Again, a lot like Mizuki. You can revive himself by sending a card from your hand back to the top of the deck, and then whenever he is summoned back that way, he's banished whenever he leaves the field instead of being resent to the grave. And then another good thing about Plague Spreader is, obviously, he's a tuner. And then the last of the zombies, you have 2 Zombie Master. Like I said in the other zombie deck profile I did, the ZombieDad deck, the crazy combo here is if you have Mizuki in hand and then Plague in grave, summon Zombie Master, pitch Mizuki, bring back Plague, sink for a 6, and then immediately Mizuki effect, banish himself, summon Zombie Master, and then from here, if you have another monster in your hand, you can save Plague Spreader's grave effect and use Zombie Master's effect again. Or if you don't have another monster, you can use Plague's grave effect to bring him back, and then basically end on double Yugioh Guardian or go into double Yugioh Guardian. Or if you're facing another zombie matchup, you can go into Doom Kaiser Dragon, but we're starting to get into way too much stuff. But there's a lot of lines that you can do with that little combo there, depending on your matchups. Triple Malicious, the only Destiny Hero card that we run in the deck. Malicious, obviously, when he's in the grave, you can banish him to special summon a Malicious from your deck. The final monster in the deck, 2 Necro Gardenas. This deck does sadly brick up. You're either going to be going off like crazy with this deck and spamming the board with an OTK play, or even potentially the FTK I was talking about, or you're just going to be sitting on a bunch of do-nothing cards. And this card here helps whenever you're in the situation where you have do-nothing stuff. Onto the spell cards. Triple Charge the Light Brigade. If Card of Safe Return wasn't in the deck, this would be the best card in the deck by far. But because of Card of Safe Return existing, this is going to have to take the 2nd place spot. You mill 3 cards, and then typically you'll add to hand Lumina, but you can add to hand any Lightsworn monster. But yeah, Lumina is typically the thing you want to go off of this. Solar Recharge, discard a Lightsworn, draw 2 cards, and then mill 2 cards. And then basically Upstart Goblin with Monster Reborn for the deck. This card is insane in the deck. Foolish Burial, sending to grave any monster from your deck. And then if Card of Safe Return is out, obviously if you send a Wolf or a Mizuki, whenever you use their effects, you're going to be drawing off of it. This card is extremely, extremely good. I can't stress how good this card is. There's so many good cards in this deck. If you just open them all, or if you know how to string together and snowball them together, it just gets insane. Burial from a Different Dimension. This is for obviously keeping your Malleys and your Plagues just constantly running and running. The one of Brain Control, just obviously take an opponent's monster. And then Monster Reborn, again, is literally an upstart goblin whenever you have a Card of Safe Return out. One of Heavy Storm because back row can blow you out, and plus Heavy Storm is a mandatory in basically every deck in this format except for like random burn decks or stun decks. And then the best card in the deck, there's no argument at all here. It is 100% the best card. Card of Safe Return. Whenever monster special summon from your grave, you get to draw a card. So going back to here, draw a card off of Monster Reborn. You're going to be drawing a card off of Foolish Burials. You hit anything like you hit any Plague Spreaders or hit any Mizukis or Wolves off of this, you're going to be drawing off of this some more. Hit anything off of this, you're going to be drawing off of this. Draw off of Zombie Master effect, draw off of Plague Spreader Zombie effect, draw off of Mizuki effect, draw off of Wolf effect, draw off of Lumina. Like, the entire deck is basically Upstart Goblins with this card on the field. That's what I mean by this deck can FTK with Tempest Magician. You just got to open Card of Safe Return, and depending on if the ball gets rolling or not. If not, you're probably going to be killing them within the next turn or the turn after that. One Mirror Force because you, again, can brick up with this deck because you are playing a few bricks, and this just helps you stall out a bit. And then the final card in the deck, CCV. This is the eroded version, but obviously back in this format, we were playing with the pre-eroded version, so we're playing with the Broken Crush card, not this one. On to the extra deck. I do have a insane size extra deck, mainly so that way people can just pick out what they want to go into. So I'll just show you like the best cards at this time to do. Double Magical Android, which I do believe you should probably be playing one or two of this. I've even considered even putting a third one in here because of Lumina constantly going in and making synchro plays and OTKing. And then the life gain with this card can get insane too. Yugioh Guardian, another card that you should be playing 2 to 3 of. Realistically, 3 of. Like, this is the best synchro in the format other than Stardust. Best card in this extra deck particularly, Tempest Magician. It causes FTKs or even like 2-turn kills. This can OTK if you're going second and the opponent doesn't have like a judgment for it or Royal Oppression. Late game, this card is insane. I've won in late game up against people off of just summoning this thing and then burning them. This card is just insane. But basically how it works, you get a counter whenever it is summoned, and then you can discard a card from your hand to add another counter. So essentially you need 15 cards in your hand, or discard around 15 cards to get the 8k damage exact. But obviously if it's turn 2, turn 4, or however many turns late into the duel, the clock just gets smaller and smaller for this card to kill. But you can FTK with this. One Iron Chain Dragon. Really, I don't really know why any deck would really play Iron Chain Dragon, other than like maybe this deck, because you synchro spam so much trying to get into like higher like level 8s. That's the only reason you'd really play this guy. Hadez, Doomkaiser, these two are really good in this deck, but more specifically Doomkaiser, I would definitely recommend playing one Doomkaiser, because if you're facing another zombie matchup, you can steal their Plague Spreaders from them, and then basically this becomes a free level 8. Black Rose Dragon, I would say anywhere between 1 to 2, but in this deck, you more realistically only need one of this card. Psychic Life Transfer. Psychic Life Transfer, I actually do go into a lot. I would recommend playing one of this card in this deck. In other extra decks for this format, this card is not really that good. But this deck particularly, because you can make a bunch of level 5s with like Magical Android because of Lumina and Plague Spreader, this card is also really good for just gaining life points. And then Avenge Knight, you can make in this deck, but would you really... like, it is like very hard, and a lot of like looping you have to do to get to this thing, because it does take a light monster. So it's not really worth it. This is a card that I would recommend just passing up on, but it is an option back in the time to play this. Stardust Dragon, I would recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 Stardust Dragon in your extra deck. Double Red Dragon Archfiend. Red Dragon, again, I would recommend maybe only 1 or 2, if that. One Colossal Fighter. I definitely would play the one of Colossal Fighter in here, but no more. double Archfiend. Archfiend, I would recommend, again, 1 to 2 of this. And then some more cool text that I like to mention in this format, Geyserus and Heraclinos, for if you're facing Gladiator Beast. More specifically, like Geyserus. So Heraclinos can kind of get out of here. Geyserus, more specifically, is the important one because it's much easier to make and definitely like the better card for popping stuff wise. But with this deck, because you're synchro summoning so much, I don't know if you really have the space to play one in here. But if you can figure out a space, or if you have like an extra space and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do with this last slot, throw in a Geysers for the Glad Beast matchup. Because you can Monster Reborn their guy, and then Brain Control their guy, and tag out with them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been the Only Bigger in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I'm signing out.